The Boston Celtics are facing a massive tactical dilemma this offseason that could completely reshape their front court. The front office is hunting for a specific type of big man to make the offense work perfectly. Joe Mazzulla loves to employ a system that relies heavily on space and constant perimeter shooting. To make this system reach its highest potential, the team absolutely needs a true stretch five on the floor. This specific roster requirement is forcing the team to consider a very controversial reunion in free agency. Nikola Vucevic is officially hitting the open market, and his future in Boston is completely up in the air. The veteran big man is certainly a plus shooter, who can comfortably step out and knock down shots from deep. He perfectly fits the offensive prototype that the coaching staff wants to utilize next season. But fans just watched a terrifying reality unfold during the recent postseason run. Vucevic completely struggled to stay on the floor against faster lineups and got absolutely exposed on the defensive end. Opposing teams targeted him in the pick and roll over and over again until he became unplayable. Now the front office has to decide if his offensive fit is worth the massive defensive headache in the playoffs. The other internal options on the current roster simply do not solve this complex problem. Neemias Queta is an incredibly athletic rim protector, but he provides absolutely zero floor spacing for the shooters. Luka Garza has the ability to step out and shoot, but he lacks the necessary physical tools to protect the paint. He does not offer nearly enough defensive resistance to satisfy a championship coaching staff. If the Celtics are completely determined to find a stretch five, bringing Vucevic back might be their only realistic option. But the financial constraints making this decision are incredibly tight this year. Boston currently has over $187 million already committed to 14 players for next season. The roster is incredibly expensive and leaves very little room for error. The front office could choose to decline multiple team options to instantly free up some additional roster spots. But doing this will not actually give the Celtics any extra salary cap flexibility. Every single one of those depth players is making a salary at or very near the league minimum. If Boston wants to stay under the luxury tax to reset the repeater penalty, they have a strict budget. The front office has exactly $14 million left to spend on that final remaining roster spot. That is not a lot of money to find an impactful big man in the modern NBA market. A reliable stretch five always commands a massive financial premium during free agency. There are only a few capable options available this summer, and the competition for their services will be brutal. Can the Celtics actually convince any of these alternative options to come to Boston for cheap? It will not be an easy task, especially if the franchise wants to significantly upgrade their overall depth. The front office risks losing Vucevic completely if they choose to wait out the market for other players. This waiting game further complicates an already sticky situation for Brad Stevens. The free agent market features exactly 5 other stretch fives for Boston to potentially consider. The Clippers hold a club option worth nearly $9 million on veteran center Brook Lopez. But the 38-year-old big man showed serious signs of physical decline throughout this past season. John Collins could be an intriguing option, but he made $25 million last year. He will certainly be looking for a very lucrative contract in free agency that Boston simply cannot afford. The Celtics could try to bring back familiar faces like Kristaps Porzingis or Al Horford. Kelly Olynyk is another former Celtic who fits the description, but all 3 options come with major issues. Porzingis is going to demand much more than the $14 million Boston has left. Horford and Olynyk are both clearly declining physically at this stage of their long careers. They simply cannot be expected to play heavy minutes every single night during a grueling regular season. The Celtics originally acquired Vucevic to give Joe Mazzulla a proper stretch five while successfully ducking under the luxury tax. If you appreciate this deep roster analysis, please like the video and subscribe. The front office is not forced to retain him, but they would still love to have that strategic shooting weapon available. If Horford and Lopez have their options picked up, the choices get very slim. It will likely come down to a direct choice between Vucevic and Olynyk for that final front court spot. As many defensive problems as he caused this past year, Vucevic remains the superior offensive talent. Boston could also choose to aggressively explore the trade market for a completely different solution. But finding an impactful big man in their exact price range will be incredibly difficult this summer. It will cost a massive haul of valuable draft capital that the team might want to save for future moves. Every single contender in the league would love to add a stretch five, so the price will be high. Vucevic was only available to Boston in the first place because his production is declining. He was making $21 million last season, but the 35-year-old will be much cheaper now. His dropping market value could open the door for Boston to bring him back while preserving their depth. Sadly, this might be the only path forward if the coaching staff refuses to abandon the scheme. That unfortunate reality does not make the ultimate decision any easier for Brad Stevens this summer. The front office has to choose between ideal offensive fit and proven playoff production. The decision-makers in Boston fully know that Vucevic is not good enough to rely on in a championship series. He might just be the best available option out of a very questionable group of free agents. But being the best of a bad situation does not automatically make his return worth the financial investment. These highly complex roster puzzles are exactly why Stevens makes millions of dollars. Ultimately, the smartest move for the franchise might be to completely cut ties with Vucevic this summer. They must find a way to upgrade the roster with players who can actually survive playoff intensity. Vucevic is simply not helping them win games when the stakes are at their highest in May and June. If that means Boston enters the season without a veteran stretch five behind Garza, then so be it. In this restrictive modern era of the league, teams always have to make difficult roster sacrifices to stay in contention. Accepting a dynamic change at the center position might just be the latest sacrifice.